So the pi system is all about time, really, when it comes down to it. We've got time, so I'll just say it's a little clock here. And then we have some value. And the pi system is able to essentially record this value as it comes in real time. And also make an entire history available to any user that wants to use it in a spreadsheet, in just some kind of graph, in any kind of report. The pi system is so adept at time that it's the big strength of it that I would go so far as to say the pi system is time. That's what it's all about. As well as bringing in the infrastructure of data of your entire enterprise. And the reason it does this is it does time really well. Okay, so you've heard me say pi does time very well. And one thing that you might not be surprised about is because we do time so well, we have a particular way of navigating time because we work in it all the time. Now that is, how do I refer to any particular spot in this graph? Now, conventionally, what we usually do is we say, well, give me the time on Monday. And so then I would give you a particular date, say like let's say Monday was the 23rd. So, say 11/23. Stuart's making up dates now. And you can query a certain date and you'll get a certain value. And that's that. Great. So that's referring it to a date. That's how we usually refer to things in the real world, in the world. But one thing that often happens with, people working with data in the pi system is they want to know what's happening right now and things that have just been happening. So I want to know what's happening right now, and I want to know things that have been happening since, today started. That's what I want to know. And well, suddenly that starts becoming a little bit more complicated because you know what now is happening? Now is always moving. It's always moving on, right? And also, if now is always moving, then if I want to know the last 8 hours, say, that's always moving too. And so we have this moving frame going on. A frame of time that's moving. And because of that, we have special ways of referring to time in the pi system. Now, the first and foremost that you need to know is that this is okay. We can refer to times as dates. That's all right. So if I want to refer to a time, I can refer to it as a date. Totally okay. If I want to refer to what's going on right now, I can do that too. And I do that with with an asterisk. So in a number of different pi pieces of software, like Pi Data Link, Pi Process Book, Pi CoreSite, Pi Web Parts, Pi Data Access, and whenever we're actually asking the server for data, we can usually use something like asterisk to refer to what's going on right now. We can also use things like dates, and a wide variety of date formats are recognized. Well, particular date formats are recognized, but you'll find that it's flexible enough to not be annoying. Like you can put in certain fragments of a date, and the pi system will still be able to recognize it and work with it. Now, these refer to particular dates in time, particular spots in time. If I were to tell you 11/26/2013, you know what I was talking about. If I referred to right now, you know what I was talking about. Other things that we have in the pi system is we can refer to today, which is today, this morning at midnight. And we can also refer to yesterday, and that's why. That's yesterday morning at midnight. So today right now is Friday, and yesterday would be Thursday. So T would refer to Friday morning at midnight, and Y would refer to Thursday morning at midnight. And then tomorrow, when tomorrow is Saturday, T will now refer to something new. T will refer to Saturday morning at midnight, and Y will refer to Friday morning at midnight. So the power of these symbols right here is that they're going to change and adapt as time marches on. Whereas just a static date, while very useful, will always be just that date. Now, we refer to these with a particular type of name. We refer to these as absolute references, meaning if I were to give you one of these references, you would know what time I was talking about. Even if that time is changing as time moves, you know exactly where I'm talking about. Now, this is in contrast to the other type of let's see here what I want to, yeah. The other type of time reference, which is something called relative. Relative. Now, a relative time reference is something that you and I are all familiar with. It's something like a minute, or an hour, or a day. A day is a length of time. So all the relative references are lengths of time. And in Pi, we have a couple of them. And they are hours, minutes, seconds, years. What else do we have? We have days, weeks. And these each have their own abbreviations. So hours is H, minutes is M, seconds is S, years is Y, days is D, weeks is W, and there's also months. Months is MO. Right. So all of these are relative time references. And the difference between a relative time reference and an absolute time reference can be summed up in me saying, okay, when is today? And you know when today is. But if I were to say, when is minutes? Or when is days? That doesn't refer to something. But I could now combine these two to make a powerful time reference. So I could say something like, what was the value 8 hours ago? And that would be, let me write it down so we can all see it. So if I wanted to know 8 hours ago, that would refer to, I could probably say, that's now minus 8 hours. And this refers to 8 hours ago in Pi shorthand. I could also say something like, let's say yesterday at 8 a.m. How would I refer to yesterday at 8 a.m.? Remember, yesterday is always changing. Tomorrow, it's going to be a different yesterday. I would refer to that, and there might be a few different ways of doing it. I would say Y for yesterday, and then probably plus 8 hours. So that's yesterday morning at midnight plus 8 hours equals 8 a.m. Pretty good. If I know that there's a particular date and a particular time, so I want to know the on December 25th of last year at 6 a.m., I want to know what the value was. Well, now for that, we're going into a very specific date, so I can start using specific date. I could say 12/25/2012, and then I'd write in a space 6 o'clock. Now we can also shorthand this if you just were to write in like 6 or 6 o'clock. That would work as well. Now there's a few other ways that the time stamps are interpreted. So for instance, if I were to not write in the years here, if I were to just write 12/25 with no year, well, which 12/25 is it going to be? Now this is an overview of how Pi interprets time. We have a number of different shorthand, an absolute and relative set, and you can combine these together to refer to times anywhere in the whole time continuum of a Pi tag, going back to when it started. Now usually these two time period is paired. It's a time period, so it has a start time and an end time. Now usually when we want to refer to data, we want to actually see a range of data. So often that means we'll have a start time and an end time. So for that means if I wanted to see the last 8 hours, or maybe let's say the last 2 hours, I would say star for right now till star minus 2 hours. And this becomes a time range that I'm then looking at. It becomes the window. And if I were to have a chart, then the far part of my chart is going to be now, and the end part is going to be 2 hours ago. So this time range becomes the last 2 hours when I ask for it in that fashion. So again, the PI system is time. It stores time data really, really well. And we have a shorthand system to make querying time really easy and really fast. There's other ways of querying time in tools like Excel. And Excel, which PI Data Link is in, you can use either the Excel time or you can use PI time, whichever you're more comfortable with. We, of course, find that our shorthand system is really effective for referring to pieces of time in relative distances. But you can use either time system that you're comfortable with there. But in all of the PI system products, this form of PI time references is found, and it really behooves you to become familiar with it. So thank you very much, and good luck navigating time.